Hi guys, I hope that you are doing very well. As promised, I am coming to you guys tonight at my new setup, which is my office, and I am sharing with you guys my screen. And right now we're in Loom, and I'm hoping that this one will be a little more, I don't want to say professional because I'm not there yet, but a little bit more easier to follow. And I'm hoping to look more into the camera to see you guys. Tonight, I am bringing you the much needed video about sleep and two things. I am using two AI tools. See, look how fancy I'm getting. I'm getting so fancy. I am sharing this with Loom, which is the one I was just talking about, and that is recording my screen. And then I am also going to use to talk to you guys about sleep and why it's important. We're going to use ChatGPT. And so one of the first things that I want to start off with is that AI or software or computers, tech in general, one thing that you need to remember is that it's really no different than money. How you use it is what you get out of it. So just like money, it can be used to destroy or it could be used to build. Same thing with these AI tools. So it can be your friend and it can help you get where you want to go, or you can be scared of it and hope that nothing's going to change, but change is always inevitable. So let's together ask ChatGPT, can you, if I can type correctly, can you tell me about why sleep is important and where you pull the information, I can't spell tonight, from. It'll fix that too. So if you're in a really big hurry and you can't spell information right, just so you know. All right, let's see here. At first glance, okay, so it really focused on, and here's the thing, here's an overview on why sleep is important, backed by reputable science and medical resources. I'd love to know, like, what are, and let's ask it. Control C, Control V, what are these resources? Okay, wow, ChatGPT is so fancy, guys. All right, so this information that we're about to go into to talk about sleep and why it's important is, first things first, if you hear nothing else from me on this channel, like, this is something I'm going to tell my kids. You got to learn how to learn. And what that breaks down to is you've got to learn how to get the correct information. We are coming upon a digital age, or just an age in general, where information is at your fingertips. But just because you have the information, it doesn't mean that it's good information. I can't speak tonight. It doesn't mean that it's good information. You have to verify, you have to check, and make sure that you're pulling from reputable resources. So the National Institute of Health, or the NIH, I would say that's a pretty reputable institution. I would also say Harvard Medical School and Harvard Health Publishing. Sounds darn reputable to me. The Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, the Sleep Foundation, the Mayo Clinic. Like, goodness, even I know what the Mayo Clinic is. It's a nonprofit academic medical center and hospital ranked as one of the best in the world. So this is where, and these sources are updated regularly, peer-reviewed, and considered top tier in the medical and public health world. So I don't know about you, but when I'm reading this information, I would think that I'm probably barking up the right tree to make sure that it's good information. Now, I just asked ChatGPT, why is sleep important? We just verified our resources. So number one is for brain function and mental health. And I also, like, here's a note. It says overview. It says overview of why health is important. So we'll have to dig into this a little bit. Brain function and mental health. Gotta love the little brain here. Memory consolidation. Sleep actually strengthens our memories by processing and storing the information gathered throughout the day. So it's almost like a computer that needs time to turn off. When an update comes through and your computer has to turn off and you have to restart it. Your brain is like that. Also, focus and decision-making skills. Sleep helps with attention, concentration, problem solving, and lack of it actually impairs those functions. Mood regulation, so you don't snap at your partner or your kids. Chronic sleep deprivation is linked to anxiety, depression, and irritability. And to my entrepreneur friends, are you hearing this? Are you seeing this? Mood regulation and linked to anxiety and depression. Like, there are so many CEOs that have anxiety, depression, and irritability. And I would guess based off this that there's a good chance that this is at the very least a piece of it. Okay, let's keep going. Physical health and healing. Okay, so cellular repair during a deep sleep. So notice the deep part there. So this is just not like light sleep where you're tossing and turning all night. But deep sleep, your body repairs tissue, builds bone and muscle, and strengthens the immune system. Oh, and check this out. I just noticed this. Looks like it's telling us where it got the source from. So that was from Harvard. Immune support. People who don't get quality sleep are prone to more infections. Mayo Clinic. Heart health. Sleep regulates blood pressure and reduces inflammation, lowering the risk of heart disease. Sleep Foundation. Okay, weight and metabolism. Hormone regulation. Sleep affects hormones like leptin, and I'm not going to pronounce that, to control hunger and appetite. So if you're trying to lose weight, that'll do it. Oh, maybe that's why I plateaued and I'm struggling all of a sudden. Right. Okay. Insulin sensitivity. Poor sleep can lead to insulin resistance. Oh, that's not good, including the risk of type 2 diabetes. Okay, longevity and disease prevention. People who consistently get 7 to 9 hours of good sleep have a lower risk of obesity, stroke, cardio disease, depression, and dementia. Right. Okay, so let's ask it some. Okay, so I think I mentioned this in one of the previous video, especially when it comes to these AIs. So not only are we checking our sources, and I love that ChatGPT, as you can see here, like every single one of these has a source because we detailed it. Now, I'm going to be honest, I did this beforehand because I wanted to see what was going to come up and make sure that it would be a good video. And these sources were not in there. So by asking to check the sources, it included where this information is coming from. So when it comes to AI, a lot of the time, like, you're going to get information. If you put something into the ask here, you're going to get something. The question is are you asking the right question? All right, so we asked about why is sleep important, and we're going to ask it, can you go into more detail about what happens when we sleep? All right, the sleep cycle. Oh, look, we're getting new information. 4 key stages. Your sleep moves in 90 to 110 minute cycles. Repeating 4 to 6 times a night. Each cycle has 4 stages. Wow, I'm learning something by teaching you guys something. Isn't that a new modern era? Instead of, in the past, I would have to have 50 years plus of knowledge about sleep. I can condense it down with AI for you guys. Okay, so stage 1 is the light sleep. You're drifting in and out. Stage 2 is about 50% of total sleep, and it's a deeper light sleep. Your heart rate slows down, your breathing slows down, rapid eye movement stops. Okay, deep sleep or slow wave sleep. This is when the muscles relax. This is where it's very hard to wake you. Tissue and cellular repair continues. Oh, even I know this. The rapid eye movement, the stage 4 is like the deepest, most restful, it's the thing that you want to get to. Vivid dreams, eyes move rapidly, brain becomes highly active, almost like being awake. Oh, that's interesting. All right. What happens to the brain? We talked about that. Oh, here's something that didn't show up beforehand. Brain detox. During deep sleep, your brain flushes out the toxins and waste proteins in your brain, and it's linked to Alzheimer's. And so this is how, by getting enough sleep, you can detox your brain. What happens to your body when you sleep? Tissue and muscle repair, immune system, metabolic and hormonal regulation, Oh, here's a good one. Most deep sleep happens early in the night. REM sleep happens longer and more frequently towards the morning. Missing certain stages by staying up late or waking up early can throw off the balance. So that was one thing that I actually had learned about earlier when I was watching Diary of a CEO. Like when you go to bed matters because you want to be able to go to bed early enough that you can get deep enough into sleep that you can get to the REM. But if you are on a different timetable, let's just say like you're working nights a lot and that can really throw your system out of balance. But that's not a good example. A good example is like, let's say you go to bed at like midnight every night and you get up at 6. You don't give your body enough time to get to the REM sleep. It's a process. Stage 1. I'll go back here. So you can see stage 1, stage 2. They didn't say that you can jump from stage 1 to stage 4. You have to go through these cycles in order to get down to the REM. And the REM is where you're getting the most health benefits. Okay, so far we're doing good with ChatGPT. Let's ask it, what happens when you don't? I can't spell tonight. What happens when you don't get enough sleep? All right, let's take a look. So we talked about why sleep's important. We talked about how it happens. All right, now we're going to talk about what happens when you don't get enough. And one of the reasons why I'm doing this is someone had mentioned that they're working 36 hours a week and 36 hours a day, and I was like, okay, like that's to the point where you're hurting yourself. So, and I sent this information to them in a Word document and a quick little video, and I don't expect anything except maybe some good karma to come my way from that. And while I was doing that, I'm like, oh, this might be a good video to do for my people. So here we go. Okay, if you don't get enough sleep, mental and cognitive effects, reduces attention and focus. You get memory problems because your brain can't consolidate it. And without consolidating, you forget things more easily and you struggle with learning. So note to self, this is going to be really important while I'm doing the AI, working my full-time job, working out, and trying to get my life put together. Poor decision-making skills and emotional control. The decision-making area of your brain is impaired. Prefrontal cortex is where that happens. I am not saying that word there, but the emotional center becomes overactive, more irritable, anxiety and depression. Weakened immune system, increased risk of chronic illness. And since you guys can see on my screen, I'm not going to talk to all these things. Ooh, hormonal imbalance. Okay. More cravings, harder. Okay, this is all about food. Daily life impacts. Wow, ChatGPT, you just keep it coming. All right, lower productivity, poor focus, inefficient work, more mistakes, time wasted. Decision fatigue. Like you just get tired of making decisions. That's good to know. Wow, this is talking about like so many CEOs and entrepreneurs that like I watch and hear about. Like this is crazy. Okay, mood and relationship strain. Less patience and empathy, increased conflict sensitivity, and more likely to isolate or lash out. Ooh, 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 my poor CEOs. Long-term brain damage, if chronic. So if you're chronically or all the time not getting enough sleep, your brain can start to accumulate toxic proteins that are linked to Alzheimer's. And Alzheimer's is on the rise. Chronic sleep loss may shrink the brain. Chronic sleep loss may shrink your brain volume over time. Wow, that's a neuroscience journal. That's a really good journal. Okay, wow, ChatGPT is even going to give us a summary. So sleep deprivation with the brain, poor memory, low focus, bad mood. With the body, a weaker immune system. So if you're traveling a lot and you're not getting enough sleep, and you're constantly getting sick, this is why. Heart, like your heart disease goes up, your weight goes up. Why can't it be lower weight, you know? Hey, if you're stressed and you're doing things right, you should be losing weight because you're so active, right? You would think that would make more sense. Life, okay, we're going to finish with life, lower productivity, and strained relationships. Okay, so now that we know what sleep is, now that we know why it's important, now that we know all this so far, let's ask it one more question. And the question is what can I do to get better sleep? Excuse me. Wow. Okay, here we go. And just for the record, just keep in mind this is an AI program. This is not a doctor. If you do anything to your health, you should consult your doctor. However, let's go ahead and get into this. So, to get better sleep, it's not just about getting more hours, it's about improving the quality of sleep. So, just because you're getting, like, say, 8 hours of sleep, it doesn't mean that it's good sleep. So, here's a guide from all those from the Mayo Clinic, Sleep Foundation, Harvard Health to help us improve our sleep. One, sticking stick to a consistent sleep schedule. And I'm doing this video kind of late, so I'm realizing that maybe I should be taking my own advice. But staying to a consistent sleep schedule, go to bed and wake up at the same time. Oh, wow. Wait, go to bed and wake up at the same time every day, even on the weekends? Like, oh, okay. Like, I think I'm going to give myself maybe an hour grace in the future, but like, I've been sleeping in a heck of a lot more on the weekends, and maybe that's why I'm like up and awake a lot more tonight than I usually am, which is why I'm doing this video. Okay, cut out screens before bed. Phones, laptops, and TVs at least 60 minutes before sleep. Blue light screens block the melatonin, which is the sleep hormone. That's good to know. Make your bedroom a sleep sanctuary. Cooler temperatures work out best. Blackout curtains, quiet. I have heard about the white noise. That's not me personally, but earplugs work as well. Comfort, invest or a good mattress or pillow. I'm not gonna lie, guys. Like, I updated my mattress last year, and I regretted not doing it sooner. It was an investment. Most of the really decent mattresses are. The ones that I were looking at, I mean, decent. Like, they're some of the top of the line are like $10,000 or $15,000. I was looking at like 2,000 or 3,000 for decent, and I will tell you, it was life changing. Should have done it years ago. Would have been worth it. Watch what you eat and drink. No caffeine after 2 p.m. Avoid alcohol before bed. It actually fragments sleep. And don't go to bed too full or hungry. Light snacks like bananas or almonds can help if needed. Wind down time. Now this one I knew about is that having a routine before you go to bed. It's a 30 to 60-minute window, and it should be a ritual so that your body knows you're getting ready for bed. Gentle stretching, deep breathing, reading with not on a screen, like reading a book, like an actual book. Journaling or gratitude reflection helps. And then, um, oh, okay, this is interesting. Morning sunlight. So what you do in the morning actually affects how you can go to bed. Getting natural light in the first 30 to 60 minutes of your day helps reset your internal clock. So I do know about this. It actually kicks off all the hormones inside your body. And so your internal, so there's the outside world, that, morning, night, that thing. There's also an internal. So like when you first wake up, when you first see the sun, when you have your first meal, that's when things start kicking off for you. Reserve your bed for sleep and intimacy only. So this is not something where you're going to hang out and watch on your phone, eat TV. Like, your bed is for being with your partner and going to sleep and nothing else. And getting your brain trained that way will make it easier to fall asleep. Handle stress or anxiety. Mental overload is one of the top reasons for poor sleep. Meditation, journaling, and therapy help. And I'm going to add one more. I will say ASMR. If you go on YouTube, it's people that use like hand movements and soft voices. And what they try to do is they help try to take away that stress and anxiety. So that's also a really good one as well. Supplements, use wisely if needed. Melatonin, magnesium. Oh, and there's bonus tips. If you can't sleep after 20 minutes, get out of bed and do something relaxing in dim light until you're sleepy again. Aim for 7 to 9 hours per night for most adults. Now, on the 7 or 9, you do need to do your research and figure out what works best for you. Because everyone's a little bit different. I will say, Elon Musk, who's done quite a few interviews and talked a lot about productivity. And I mean, look, he's such a figure for so many people. He's such a role model. And that all to be said, his business ethic or his work ethic is just out of this world. And yes, that's a pun because of SpaceX. That all to be said, I do think he did say like he was getting down to like 5 or 6 hours of sleep, and he realized that his productivity. Actually, let's ask: did Elon Musk ever say how many hours of sleep he needs? Let's find out. Oh, it's searching the web. Yes. You just can't make this stuff up. Okay, Elon Musk has shared that he values getting around 6 hours of sleep per night. Yes, okay, and that makes sense because it was the 5 hours that I had heard where he said that it wasn't enough. And he found that 6. Now, if we scroll up, it's saying that 7 and 9 are the best for most adults. But if he figures out that 6 works for him, you know, that works. Wow. 3 a.m. to 9 a.m. Okay, well, to each their own. So in any case, I hope this video helps you when it comes to sleep, on why it's important, some things that can happen if you don't get enough. I thought this was really relevant to people that are trying to do better in their life, as well as my entrepreneurs. So this is for my entire audience. And also, I thought, like I said, it was a little bit like Christmas, figuring out all this AI. And so I was like, okay, let's do an actual video and see if we can see how that goes. But hopefully this all helps, and I will keep you guys updated as more things come up. And I hope that you have a beautiful night's sleep, and I'll see you guys in the next video.